Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
Better? All right, there you go.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks. I'm gonna grab
Hey, when you click those two heels together,
That's right.
yeah,
I love it.
we're ready to take off.
We are ready to take off.
All right. So the mics are hot.
The mics are hot.
And,
Release the files.
Release the files. Gotta get it done. Do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah. Don't wait.
I'm good. How are you? Yeah,
Pleasure to meet
good
you.
to see you. I'm liking that fit, man.
Trying to stay. Oh, I love the T-shirt.
Yeah. So
Very
profit.
appropriate.
Can I just say,
Okay, shoes.
oh, my nails match your shoes.
Shoes are hitting.
Somewhere in the state of California.
Yeah.
The state legislature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Hello. So I want to introduce you to the most wonderful person. And this is the most wonderful. I already told them all to follow you on social media. But she just became the chair of the board of the Grammys. And she's from here, so to Chelsea. And wait, more important, and just as important, she is one of the best musicians, and she plays with Warren Treaty, among others.
All right. What instrument?
Violin.
Okay.
Violin and viola.
So this is why this is a good match.
I love it.
All right. Well, come on. Let's get it crunk,
Are we
as they say.
We're about to get it going.
Yeah.
Unwrap. Oh,
All right.
thank you. It was this in balance.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Congressman Hank Johnson, representing Georgia's 4th Congressional District, and I thank everyone for being here today as we introduce the Restoring Artistic Protections Act. First, I want to thank all of the organizations supporting this critical legislation, particularly those represented here today. Your advocacy amplifies this issue not just here in Washington, but throughout the entire nation. A special thank you to my colleague and friend, Congresswoman Kamlager-Dove from California, who's co-leading this legislation with me, the Restoring Artistic Protection Act, which is a crucial step towards safeguarding artists' First Amendment rights by imposing reasonable limits, not complete prohibitions, but reasonable limits on the admissibility of their creative expression in criminal and civil proceedings. This legislation is long overdue. For far too long, prosecutors have unjustly targeted artists using their creative work as evidence of guilt, despite lacking tangible proof that the artistic expression is anything other than imagination and creativity. I'm proud and honored to have the backing of organizations representing artists across the entire creative spectrum. It's critical to note that this bill is not solely about musical lyrics. It encompasses all forms of artistic expression, including writing, visual arts, performance, and beyond. Let me be clear, courts must never be weaponized to unfairly target artists by misinterpreting their creative expressions as admissions of guilt. We are introducing this legislation in an era marked by growing concern about the misuse of our judicial system by the current administration to target individuals perceived as political opponents or enemies, some of them being in the creative arts space. The judiciary should never be a tool for political retaliation at the federal level, or any level in that case, and this bill places essential guardrails against such potential abuses, ensuring that our courts remain impartial forums for justice rather than avenues for political vengeance. By creating a presumption against the admissibility of artistic expressions, this legislation ensures that prosecutors must provide substantial evidence that the content reflects more than just creative expression. When artists are free to express themselves without fear, it fosters creativity, innovation, and cultural vitality. It is especially critical for artists of color who disproportionately face scrutiny and unjust consequences stemming from their creative work. Protecting artistic freedom is fundamental to preserving the integrity and vibrancy of our society. So please support this bill and help protect the First Amendment rights of artists. And with that, I would like to turn the mic over to my sister from California who has been in this fight to protect creative rights with me since she came to Congress. It's my honor to have her as my co-lead on this important legislation. Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager-Dove.
Thank you, Brother Johnson. It is an honor to serve with you on the House Judiciary Committee. Good morning. My name is Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager-Dove, and I am repping the 37th Congressional District in California, which includes Los Angeles. So as a West Coast girl, I have to start out with a quote from the late Tupac. I'm not a gangster and never have been. I'm not the thief who grabs your purse. I'm not the guy who jacks your car. I'm not down with the people who steal and hurt others. I've got a job. I'm an artist. Not a gangster, an artist. Despite the record-breaking sales, critical acclaim, and Grammy nominations, Tupac was often portrayed in the media or viewed by society as a gangster because of the lyrics he wrote, the stories he told, and his identity as a black man in America. Today, we are here to protect artists' creative expression by introducing the Rap Act. Far too often, artists' lyrics are used against them as evidence in court. From poetry to plays to music, creative expression should be viewed as just that, not evidence to be held against an artist in court. And despite how far we've come, with hip-hop rising to become the most licensed genre in the United States and globally, this phenomenon disproportionately impacts young black artists, especially rappers. No one should be labeled a gangster solely for their creative expression or the color of their skin. And certainly no one should be held liable in court for free expression. Not every rap lyric should be interpreted as a real-life experience. And don't hate on somebody because you can't rhyme like they do and then try to send them to court.
How about that?
Even as a West Coast girl, I have to point out that Biggie said it was all a dream for a reason. So I am proud to introduce this legislation alongside Congressman Johnson, which would protect artists' freedom of speech and expression by ensuring that their work cannot be held against them in court. We are living in a time when this Trump administration is attacking free speech and silencing dissent. They are disappearing people off the streets, especially in my community, and shipping them off to prisons in other states or even other countries. You know, this bill is an extension of that, is a protection in the extension of that kind of behavior. This bill protects artists' freedom of expression, and that is important now more than ever before. This bill is telling our artists that we want them to create freely without fear of repercussions or retribution. We still want to hear the stories. We still want to feel the pain. We still want to dream with them, and we want them to feel free to express all of their emotions and stories and dreams and aspirations and pain without fear of retribution. So if we have a president who can tell his story, we want artists to be able to tell their story too, whatever it is. In the words of K-Doc, it is time to squabble up to protect our artists. So I would now like to pass things off to Dr. Chelsea Green, Chair of the Recording Academy's Board of Trustees.
Excellent.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Now, you were laying down the bar. I already love that. It's hard to follow that, but hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Chelsea Green, and I am a recording artist, a violinist, a vocalist, and currently I have the honor of serving as the chair of the Board of Trustees of the Recording Academy. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Best known for the Grammy Awards, the Recording Academy is an organization that represents thousands of songwriters, instrumentalists, producers, engineers, and many other music creators and professionals. I'm pleased to be here to show our support for the RAP Act, Restoring Artistic Protection Act, and to express our continued gratitude to Representatives Hank Johnson and Sydney Kamlager-Dove for being our champions in protecting creative expression. The Restoring Artistic Protection Act will protect the First Amendment rights of everyone by limiting the use of creative expressions such as song lyrics as evidence in court. I think every single one of us can think back to a song that impacted their life in a very meaningful way at some point. It was the words, it was the music, it was how you were able to connect to that music. Silencing creative expression is a violation against artists and all people. Our stories, our struggles, and our lived experience are often expressed through the music that we make. Through poetry, through film, through dance, through other types of audience interaction and connections. To criminalize those expressions is to criminalize identity, imagination, and truth. We must protect the right to create freely without fear that our words will be twisted or weaponized in a courtroom. Because of the example set by this bill and the leadership of our incredible congressmen, we have also seen many states take action against this harmful practice in a strong bipartisan manner. California and Louisiana have already passed laws protecting creative expression, and similar legislation has progressed across the country in states like Georgia, Maryland, Missouri, and New York. We encourage members of Congress on both sides of the aisle to support the Restoring Artistic Protections Act, and legislators across the country to pass similar legislation to protect creative expression in their state. Thank you so much. And next, I'd like to welcome someone who has been a good friend to the Academy and an incredible partner on this issue. Please welcome the one and only Prophet, the co-founder of the Black Music Action Coalition.
Thank you, sir.
Peace. I am Prophet, co-founder, president, and CEO of the Black Music Action Coalition. We are here today to draw a line between justice and prejudice, a line between evidence and expression, a line between what someone says in art and who they are under the law. Today I stand with Representatives Dove and Johnson, Songwriters of North America, Music Artists Coalition, the Artists' Rights Alliance, and Free Our Art, as we introduce the Restoring Artistic Protection Act, the RAP Act, a bill that will put a stop to the widespread misuse of song lyrics and creative expression as evidence in criminal trials. The RAP Act will prohibit the use of lyrics and other artistic works in courtrooms unless there is a clear, direct, and independently verifiable evidence linking that art to a specific crime. Let me be clear. This bill is not shielding anyone from accountability. It's about protecting the constitutional right that should never be conditional, the right to free expression. It's about recognizing that art is not a confession, poetry is not a prosecution tool. It's about correcting the system that far too long has treated black creativity as a crime scene. Let's be clear, this pattern didn't start with drill rap. Back in the 80s and 90s, artists like Tupac, NWA, and Ice-T were harassed, censored, and in some cases criminally targeted, not for what they did, but for what they said in their music. This has always been more about lyrics. It's about power, race, and the fear of black expression. Hip-hop was born from resistance. It is raw, real, and often uncomfortable. But discomfort is not evidence. Metaphor is not motive, and art is not a crime. We've seen prosecutors twist lyrics into confessions. We've seen juries persuaded by rhymes instead of facts. We've seen black men, not just rappers, but young people trying to find their voice, end up behind bars for words they wrote, not the lives they lived. And that's why the RAP Act is so necessary, because art, again, is not a confession, it's a reflection. It is resistance. And as the legendary Nina Simone once said, an artist's duty is to reflect the times that we live. But there is some good news. Change is already happening. In 2022, California made history by passing the first law in the country restricting the use of rap lyrics as evidence in court. Other states like New York and Illinois have introduced similar legislation. These efforts are gaining bipartisan support because it's not a partisan issue. It's a constitutional one. We are proud of the state-level progress, but now we need to go further. It is now time for a national solution. The introduction of this bill that set the tone for those victories and will bring a federal, the reintroduction of this bill that set the tone for those victories will bring it to a federal level. Because no artist in any state should fear that their lyrics will land them in prison. No courtroom should be allowed to confuse storytelling with self-incrimination. Let me also be clear. This bill doesn't say that lyrics can never be used. It says it can't be used as a substitute for real evidence. This is about protecting art, yes, but also protecting the truth. Because when our legal system confuses metaphor with motive, it loses credibility. When it disproportionately targets black voices, it loses its soul. Anything less is not justice, it's racial profiling with a beat behind it. Let us defend not just the artist, but the idea that in free society, art must remain free, even when it tells hard truths. We are calling on Congress, state legislators, and our community to support the RAP Act, to stand with artists, especially those who have come from communities that have been historically silenced and surveilled. To every young person with a pen, a mic, or a vision, your voice matters, your art matters, and we will fight to protect it. And now I will pass it to Greg Gonzalez, please.
My name is Greg Gonzalez, and I am Legislative Counsel at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE, a national, nonpartisan, nonprofit dedicated to defending free speech. Since 1999, FIRE has defended the free speech rights of people on all parts of the political spectrum. We're pleased to support the introduction of the Restoring Artistic Protection Act of 2025, better known as the RAP Act. Artistic expression plays an important role in our society. It entertains us, it creates shared culture, and passes down important lessons and values to younger generations. It also gives truths that might otherwise go unheard. Films, music, novels, all forms of art can challenge power and question norms, often before it is popular to do so. And artistic expression is, of course, protected by the First Amendment. Unfortunately, it has become a growing problem where artistic expression is used against artists. Their art is distorted, misconstrued, and presented as fact in court without the appropriate inquiry into the relevance of the art to the case at hand. But these works of fiction aren't confessions, they are creations. When creative expression is treated as criminal evidence, artists begin to self-censor. They hold back. They stop taking risks. And when that happens, we all lose. The RAP Act offers a solution. It places sensible limits on when and how creative works can be introduced as evidence. If they contain specific details about a crime, facts that only the perpetrator would know, then yes, there's a process to consider that evidence. But absent that clear connection, an artist's imagination should not be mistaken for fact. This legislation strikes the right balance. It's thoughtful, it's necessary, and it's overdue. We thank Congressman Johnson and Congresswoman Kamlager-Dove for sponsoring this important piece of legislation. Stand with artists. Stand for the First Amendment. FIRE urges Congress to pass the RAP Act. Thank you. I will now pass it to Ms. Hadar Harris with PEN America.
Hey.
I'm from California, too.
There we go. Many thanks to the organizers for today's event and to our members of Congress for bravely reintroducing this bill today. My name is Hadar Harris. I'm the managing director for PEN America here in Washington, D.C. PEN America stands at the intersection of literature and human rights to protect free expression in the United States and worldwide. Since PEN America's founding in 1922, we've recognized and elevated the role of artists as cultural ambassadors and innovators who enrich the literary imagination of our country and those worldwide. We are proud to have thousands of dedicated artists, writers, songwriters, poets, playwrights, and others from the arts and humanities among our members. This really important bill protects them from having their art weaponized against them. Songwriting is a particular form of storytelling, whether folk music or rock or rap. Song lyrics reflect on human experience, elevating the listener when tied to music in one of humanity's oldest forms of free expression. The same is true for plays, for books, for films, and many other kinds of artistic expression. Using song lyrics or other forms of art in criminal proceedings as alleged evidence of wrongdoing is completely antithetical to our traditions of free expression in this country and to the First Amendment itself. It's an effort to weaponize free speech, the burden of which disproportionately does impact and will continue to impact Black and brown communities, which embrace a particular art form and different forms of poetic expression. This bill will help guard against that. That's why the Restoring Artistic Protection Act, the RAP Act, is critical in ensuring that artistic expression, especially across the spectrum of communities, who already grapple with unjust disparities in our country's criminal justice system and also in our music system, is never a crime. Protecting song lyrics and art from weaponization seems important in new ways in this era of democratic backsliding, when culture is in the crosshairs and free speech is being used to detain and deport people and to arrest them on the basis of their opinions and expression. Protecting art from any attempted use to implicate their author in alleged wrongdoing takes on new importance against this backdrop. We know this because PEN America works as part of the PEN network across the world, where we see artists punished, incarcerated, and even condemned to death by repressive regimes for writing, expressing, and disseminating poems or songs or their art in any way on social media platforms or in any other way. That's why this bill is so incredibly important. PEN America wholeheartely endorses the RAP Act, and we thank our members of Congress for their leadership, and we look forward to working with members across the aisle, and with everybody to get this across the finish line. Thank you so much. And with that, I would like to introduce Lucius Outlaw III from Howard.
Thank you. My name is Lucius Outlaw. I'm a professor at Howard Law School, where I run the school's criminal justice clinic. I just want to thank the congressman and the congresswoman for introducing this important legislation. Just a few years ago, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. And so in just over 50 years, hip-hop has gone from being dismissed as a fad that was emerged from the Black and brown streets of New York to being an international phenomenon of impactful and widespread influence. Indeed, today, hip-hop is ubiquitous. You can't go anywhere without feeling, hearing, and experiencing the touch of hip-hop. Once dismissed by corporate America, it is used now to sell everything from popsicles to luxury vehicles. Once dismissed as a fad, is now litters the soundtrack of most movies and TV shows. It's everywhere, and it touches everything. It has been the soundtrack of my life and my students' life. And that's why the misuse of rap artistic expression as criminal evidence is something that is personal to me and my students. While we might disagree about who are the best rappers of all time and what is the golden age of hip-hop, we all agree, my students and I, that this attack on rap and rap expression is wrong. It is just wrong. And it's unconstitutional, and it's a personal attack to us and our culture. And that's why we are proud to stand with this legislation and support this legislation. And it's important to note that, as others alluded to, this is not just about rap artistic expression. This is about all freedom of expression. We are living in an age where dissent is quickly being criminalized, where talking about our true history that includes pain, trauma, and exploitation is being criminalized. And that is what hip-hop is about. It's about bringing truth to people who might not experience or see the truth but need to know the truth. It's about telling that truth, and it's being criminalized. And so this is not just about protecting rappers. It's about protecting anyone who wants to raise dissent, anyone who wants to express our true history, and having to force a reconciliation with that history so we can move forward and really become a united union. So we stand with this legislation, and we hope that the people support it, because it's not just about protecting rappers, it's about protecting all of our speech, especially when we want to have dissent and speak the truth. So now I'll turn it over to my friend and frequent collaborator, Dr. Eric Nielsen, who's been working on this issue far longer than me and most people, and I'm happy to hear him speak now.
That's right.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I found out about 5 or 10 minutes ago that I would be speaking. So in the long tradition of hip-hop, I'm going to try to freestyle this one.
Go ahead, Doctor.
The use of rap lyrics as evidence is a new and novel and disturbing tactic, but it resides in a centuries-long tradition of targeting and punishing black artistic expression, whether it be the slave spirituals, the blues, the jazz, whether it be the poets of the Harlem Renaissance, the poets of the black arts movement, and now hip-hop. This is a long and sad tradition in the United States. My work on this began over a decade ago. There was a trial involving, at the time, a well-known artist, still well-known, named Lil Boosie, and this was in Louisiana. And prosecutors attempted to use some of his lyrics against him. I should note that he was acquitted in like an hour after the case was resolved. However, I thought to myself, well, wait, if this is happening to a well-known artist, and there are all these resources to draw attention to it, I wonder how much this is happening across the country. And so I started digging in, and I set as my goal to determine how widespread this was. And it turned out to be far more widespread than I had anticipated. And I was shocked. I was shocked that this could happen in the first place in a country with the First Amendment. And I was shocked at how many people were caught up in this, almost exclusively young black and Hispanic men, but also how many people were not talking about it. So I made it my goal to make this public and to draw attention to it. And in the process of that, I started reaching out to attorneys. If I saw them, I had a Google alert set. And if it said rap lyrics trial, I found out who the lawyer was, and I'd call him or I'd call her, and I'd say, listen, I'm researching this. What can you tell me? And so as I kept doing that, the attorneys would respond and say, okay, I helped you. How can you help me? And so that's when I started testifying. And so over the last decade or so, I've testified in roughly 20 cases at state and federal court. I've worked on well over 100, from artists like Young Thug all the way to artists you'll never hear about because they've been buried by the criminal justice system. Unfortunately, although we have seen some progress in states like California and Louisiana, the problem is getting worse. In just the last few years, I'll give you an example. When we wrote our book, Rap on Trial, we identified roughly 500 cases involving rap lyrics as evidence. A New York Times investigation went back to 1950 to find examples of other art forms that were similarly targeted, and they found four over 75 years, all of them reversed or dismissed, by the way. In the last 2.5 years alone, just from mid-2022 to today, my research fellow, who's standing in the back, Mina Ghani, has identified close to 150 additional cases in just a couple of years. My point, the problem is getting worse. I want to thank the congressman and the congresswoman for sponsoring this bill. I'm proud to be a part of Free Our Art. I'm proud to be a part of this entire coalition. We stand ready to tackle this challenge, and I see this bill as an important first step in protecting art regardless of who the artist is. Thank you for that.
Okay, so if there are any questions, we will take them now. It's the same legislation, and right now the problem is this is not on Donald Trump's agenda. And so we have a rubber stamp Republican-led Congress, House and Senate, that is only interested in doing what Donald Trump tells them to do. And so this legislation is subject to that reality. But meanwhile, it continues to pick up momentum among the rank and file in Congress. Each time that it's introduced or reintroduced, we pick up co-sponsors. We pick up more co-sponsors. And so with organizations doing the kind of outreach that you've heard during this press conference today, the issue is becoming more, or people are becoming more aware of this issue, and they are wanting to take action, particularly in a period that we're in now, where First Amendment protections and indeed all protections under the Constitution are being just ignored, violated and ignored. And so it's even more important now than ever that we pass the Restoring Artistic Protections Act. Like it's already been noted today, we have academic institutions being attacked. We have media organizations that are being forced to do what the executive branch, the president, wants them to do. We have lawyers who are being intimidated. And we have the very judges in our system who are being intimidated with threats and impeachment resolutions. And so we're seeing an attack on the ability of all platforms to offer people an opportunity to fully and freely express themselves. And so I suspect that with the reintroduction of the Restoring Artistic Protections Act in this session of Congress, it's going to be even more, it's going to gain even more support than it has in previous sessions. Not as of yet, but we're working hard to make it happen. I would note that it was Republicans in the state of Louisiana who were able to pass legislation on the RAP Act. And so, state legislators are doing it in a bipartisan way, and I'm sure that we will be bipartisan with the RAP Act as well.
I would just like to add that we have a president who has named himself the chair of the Kennedy Center. We have a president who was interested in renaming the Kennedy Opera House after his wife, the First Lady. We have a president who likes to thank repeatedly black and brown men, voters who helped him get elected. So I would hope that since this president seems to be one who supports the arts because of his desire to take over the Kennedy Center, that he would implore his Republicans in Congress to support this piece of legislation. Because as you have heard, these kinds of charges disproportionately impact those black and brown men that he likes to say he loves so much.
That's good. That's good. Anybody else? Any other questions? Anything else anybody would like to say? Okay, well, with that, we will conclude this press conference. Thank you, everyone, for being here.